Vitamin D undoubtedly is one of the major nutrients needed for the proper functioning of your body. If you're wondering why that is, today we'll cover it all in this video. From how it does wonders to your bones when joined with calcium, to how it is one of the best nutrients to keep your muscles and the immune system intact. But like every other thing on this planet, even vitamin D has its own downsides that leads to the real-world dangers. Well, not really world, but you know what we mean. So let's dive straight into the world of this nutrient and hopefully dig into the dangers that you must know when dealing with vitamin D. So what is this nutrient vitamin D? Well, vitamin D in a nutshell is a nutrient that is very complementary to calcium in keeping your bones healthy. In the loss of either of the two, you would be at great risk of this disease called osteoporosis. Osteoporosis is a medical condition that makes your bones delicate and fragile, which of course leads to fractures, bone displacements, and so on, even in avoidable circumstances. Overall, vitamin D helps calcium to keep your bones healthy and strong. Well, you need those muscles to make movements, be it the smallest movements. And nerves are like these mediators between your brain and your body. So vitamin D helps fight bacteria and viruses to make your immune system stronger. Or if we talk in the other way around, it helps your body kill the bad bacteria and helps produce good bacteria that is beneficial for you in the long run. Now, after knowing the know-how of vitamins, it's important to understand how much vitamin D is good enough for you. Because let me tell you this beforehand, you don't need to consume vitamin D excessively. Well, that's where the dangers lie. So make sure you pay attention and note down the following quantities. The quantity of vitamin D that you really need depends on your age. We have average daily recommendations that are majorly measured in micrograms and international units for people in each age group. So here's the line down. For babies from 0 to 12 months, 10 mcg of vitamin D is enough. When it comes to children, 15 mcg gets them going. Even for people from 17 to 70 years of age, 15 mcg is recommended. Now, when it comes to senior citizens, the quantity of sunlight is slightly higher, being 20 mcg. So how is it that people can get enough vitamin D? Is sun the only source, or there's more to vitamin D than what meets the eye? Well, let's find out. After having discussed the quantities of vitamin D that every age group really needs on a daily basis, it's obvious that you can get enough vitamin D by being exposed to sunlight. But when it comes to people who lack vitamin D, it is not really recommended for them to rely on sunlight totally. Especially when you have the winter season going on, it's recommended to incorporate vitamin D supplements into your routine, as even if you spend hours sitting under the sun in the winter won't be as intense to produce enough vitamin D. But before we talk about the supplements or food alternatives, let's talk about how you can get the most vitamin D from the sun. The sun is undoubtedly the most reliable source of vitamin D. Even if you spend around 15 to 20 minutes under the sun, your daily requirement of vitamin D gets fulfilled. Yes, it's that effective. When the sun rays touch your skin, it's more than a sensation that takes place with your body. These sun rays have ultraviolet rays that help with creating vitamin D in your body. But make sure you don't overdo it, since overexposure to the sun may cause skin problems and diseases like skin burns and even increase the risk of skin cancer. If you are enjoying this informational video so far, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button for more such videos. So if we look at it this way, if you are fair-skinned and spend about 15 minutes under the sun, it's more than enough. But if you are someone with a darker skin tone, sitting in the sun for a few hours is recommended. Also, speaking of the efficiency of the sun, once you incorporate regular outdoor time, you are good to go to check your vitamin D box. But if you are someone who would rather prefer to stay inside, well, that's a bummer. There is only a small number of foods that contain enough quantity of vitamin D. Now let's discuss the list of foods that contain vitamin D. Fatty fish like mackerel, salmon and tuna, cheese, egg yolks, mushrooms, beef liver, juices, fortified cereals, and fortified milk are good sources of vitamin D. Now, even if your body can produce vitamin D, some people are more likely to face a deficiency. There are many factors that impact the deficiency. Some of them are, first, the complexion of your skin. The darker your skin, the lesser likely you are to take in ultraviolet B rays from the sun, which of course is necessary for your skin to produce vitamin D. Secondly, your lack of exposure to the sun. People who live in the northern latitudes or regions with high pollution levels, or people who work night shifts or just prefer to stay indoors must get hold of vitamin D from other sources like cheese, juices, and so on. Third on the list is your age. As you age, your skin's ability to create vitamin D reduces. It's also common because older adults tend to spend time at home more. Fourth on the list are conditions that block the absorption of fats in your body. Vitamin D is fat-soluble, which means that the absorption in the gut entirely depends on the intake of the nutrients in your diet. Fifth comes obesity. Having a ton of body fat can make it harder for your body to take in vitamin D from the sun through your skin. And last but not the least, we have people who have undergone gastric bypass. This surgery skips over a section of the upper intestine that usually soaks up a lot of vitamin D. Now, this skipping part is a nightmare, as it leads to a lack of vitamin D in your system. Now, we have spoken about the causes of lack of vitamin D in your body, but what about the time when you are experiencing an excess of the nutrient? Sorry to burst your bubble, but vitamin D's excess can also lead to dangerous situations and body health. Of course, there's no doubt that vitamin D is super important for your body. Vitamin D helps with tackling all your bone disorders like rickets. It is also that one nutrient that helps keep your cells in a pleasant shape and make sure they do their job right. Yet, some of us still choose the over-the-top supplement brands, whether we have researched thoroughly about it or not. We don't really get deeper into the context of these supplements and tend to consume them anyway. Did you know that when you go over the recommended amount, it adds more and more toxins to your body? This lack of understanding is one of the most important factors in why we sometimes have to deal with the side effects. So here are the obvious worst dangers of vitamin D. First, it leads to high blood calcium levels. Vitamin D is very important for your body to soak up calcium from the food that you eat. But if you take excess vitamin D, the blood calcium in your body heightens, causing not so fun and possibly risky symptoms. Also, these signs that lead to having too much vitamin D is related to hypercalcemia, which leads to having a lot of calcium in your blood. And here are the symptoms of this overcalcium decide. Digestive distress, like nausea, vomiting, stomach pain, and constipation. Then there are mental symptoms like mental fatigue, hallucinations, dizziness, and confusion. Loss of appetite also counts as one of those mental symptoms. This lack of high blood calcium levels also causes kidney diseases and effects like excessive urination, kidney stones, kidney failure, and kidney injuries. Heart symptoms like abnormal heart rhythms and high blood pressure are very commonly seen among all. And to top the symptoms list, we have dehydration. Secondly, we have gastrointestinal symptoms, which are also tied to having an excess of calcium in the blood. But it's also important that we don't have any unclear notions about hypercalcemia. Third on the list, we have the symptoms related to mental health. People who have too much calcium in the blood show signs like feeling confused, depressed, or even having episodes of psychosis. And last but not least, we have kidney issues. Kidney complications are often regarded as one of the worst dangers of vitamin D. In most cases, an excess of vitamin D can cause harm to the kidneys, which might lead to kidney damage or failure. Well, this is because when calcium levels rise at a high rate, the blood vessels in the kidneys constrict, which leads to a reduction in the proper functioning of kidneys. To sum it all up, vitamin D is a must if you want to elevate your bone health. But make sure you don't overdo it, as it may lead to high blood calcium levels, leading to symptoms like digestive distress and kidney issues, which can be quite fatal. And to top it off, it can also impact your mental health, leading to confusion and coma in severe cases. So balance is your way to go, with vitamin D and with life.